Hey gang, it's Bill Storm. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I use a specific dog training technique to build a seven-figure business. Yes, a dog training technique. My wife and I are pretty heavily involved in dog rescue down here in South Florida. We both have big hearts for dogs that have been mistreated, abused, or abandoned. It just blows my mind how any human being can treat another living thing like that, but sadly that's the case. So recently we've been doing a lot of work with this shepherd rescue, and one of the dogs that came in recently, his name is Brock, and he is beautiful. I mean, he is such a handsome dog, but the thing is that Brock was abused. So what happens with Brock is Brock does not like men very much, and when working with Brock to try to recondition him, right? I literally have to stand on the other side of an iron gate to try to work with him to get him to break those barriers and start changing his patterns and his mindset so he starts to feel more comfortable and confident around men. And luckily, we're making some great headway with that. In fact, just the other day, we were able to take him and walk with him in a public area, and he had a muzzle on, and the trainer had the leash on him, and I was walking right next to him, and he didn't lunge at me, or he didn't really show signs of aggression. So we're literally changing his thought processes and his conditioning to be able to adapt and feel confident and feel comfortable and feel secure and feel safe again, which I'm very, very proud of. But here's the thing. This is the same thing that happens with human beings. Our entire lives, we are not conditioned to be successful. Matter of fact, over the first 35 years of our life, what happens is whatever conditioning that we have, whatever we're told, whatever environment we're in, that takes root, that sets in. And for most people, that's where they stop. That's where they're limited, and they never can grow beyond that point. So no matter how hard you try, no matter how much hustle, no matter how much grind, which I hate, by the way, right? That's why hustle and grind doesn't work. No much of that as you try to do, you're never going to be able to get past what your mental conditioning is, okay? That's something that you really need to grasp and understand. Literally what happens in your mind is you create these neural pathways. It's like a highway, and it's like you're driving along the highway, and all of a sudden the road runs out, right? Or the bridge is collapsed, and you just can't go any further. It doesn't matter what you do. You can rev the accelerator all you want, but you just can't go any further. So the answer is that like Brock and like this dog training, in order to get around the obstacle and to be able to grow to the level that you want to grow, you now have to create these new neural pathways. So the only way to create a new neural pathway is to interrupt the thinking, your negative thinking or your limited thinking, and then introduce a new thought pattern to it, just the same as we do with Brock. So with Brock, for example, if he is approaching the gate and I've got a treat for him, I need to interrupt his pattern from him where he wants to be aggressive with the treat, right? So Brock will start to come up, and instead of being aggressive, where I'm just looking at him and he lunges at the gate, I go, Brock, watch me. Right? And I hold the treat up to my face. And I go, watch me, right? So he watches and I go, good boy, right? And I give him the treat, right? So now he's not conditioned yet. Just because I gave it to him once doesn't mean that he's better, right? So every time he starts to come towards the gate, I have to do the same thing. Brock, watch me, right? And every time he does the behavior or pattern or the thing that I want him to do, I give him a treat. And that starts to condition him to start to think a different way, literally developing a different neural pathway so he can start to become a different animal, right? He can feel more confident, comfortable, and secure. Well, the same thing happens with us. So the specific dog training technique that I did, and I didn't even know it was a dog training technique back then, but I was told that you become what goes into your mind. So I didn't grow up with money, right? I didn't grow up with a specific kind of advantage, if you will, right? But what I did do is I, very early on, I started to read good things. So, right, we say garbage in, garbage out. I started to put good things into my mind. And the idea was, okay, I've got these negative patterns, or I've got these negative beliefs, or I had this environment that wasn't conducive to what I wanted to do. So what I need to do is I need to literally start changing what goes into my mind in order for me to be able to break out of that, right, and be able to start becoming the person that I needed to become to be able to elevate to the level that I wanted to achieve. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So here's the specific thing. Every time that I felt something of my old conditioning telling me that I couldn't do something, or that I wasn't smart enough, or I didn't know the right people, or I didn't have the money to be able to take on something, a project or an idea like that. Who are you to think that you can build a 7-figure business, right? You didn't really come from anything. Who are you to say that you could do that? And those are all the negative things that will come in, that come flooding back into your mind. The fear of, what if I try this? What if I fail? Oh, am I going to lose everything? Right? All of these negative things happen. How many of you guys have thought those thoughts about yourself before? Right? Those are all those negative conditioning patterns, and those are your neural pathways where your road runs out, and you can't go any further. So in order to break this thing now, we need to change that. So what did I do? Every time that I started to feel one of those things, and I could literally feel it welling up inside of me, like it would hurt, right? I could feel that, and I'd feel like anger, and I'd start to feel anxious, and I was so angry that I was feeling that way. So what I did is I stopped that thought process immediately, and I went away from that thing. I stopped working. I didn't hustle, and I didn't grind. I stopped. I stopped, and I said, I need to change my mind first, because if I don't change my mind first, I'm not going to be able to continue to do this thing, right? Grinding it out doesn't work. Grinding it out just wears you down. That's what grinding means. You just wear something down, right? You pulverize it. I wasn't into wanting to pulverize myself or wear myself out. I wanted to be able to grow, right? So what I did was I interrupted that pattern, and I immediately went to an audio course. That was the way that I really like to absorb information. And it may be an audio course for you. It may be a book for you. Something that puts you back in a powerful mindset, in the right state. Somebody who motivates you, somebody who excites you to listen to. So I used to listen to Zig Ziglar all the time. For some reason, I just loved his stories, and it just really motivated and put me back in the right frame of mind. So the simple exercise is for you, right? The simple dog training exercise for you is every time you feel yourself getting aggressive like Brock did, right? I want you to think about that. Bill's saying, watch me. Right? I want you to pay attention to yourself. I want you to pay attention to what you're doing to yourself. Watch me, right? And then what I want you to do is stop that pattern. Immediately stop what you're doing. Just don't even think about continuing to work. Go put something good in your brain, audio or a book or something, and just, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, let's just even say 5 minutes, just break that pattern right there, put something good in your brain, and then once you feel like you're back in the flow and you're feeling strong and confident, and you can feel your motivation level come back, now you can get back to the task that you were working on. And at first, you're going to have to do this a lot. It could literally be every 15 minutes you'll get a negative thought in your head, or somebody will bomb you with something that annoys you or gets you anxious again, and you'll literally have to stop, get away from that environment. Literally get up and leave the room and go plug something good into your brain. And if you keep continuing to do that, eventually the spacing will get longer and longer and longer. You won't have to do it as frequently, right? But literally what's happened to me over my lifetime is I've literally gone from this small mindset where I didn't think I could do, or I didn't feel like I deserved, like I should be successful, to now I'm at the point to where I've conditioned myself so well that as soon as somebody comes at me with something like that, it's almost like a force field surrounds me, and I'm like, right, and just I let it bounce right off of me. I do not let it. I basically guard the gate. I do not let that kind of crap go into my mind, because if I let something come in like that, what it does is it brings me back to my old self, and I am not going back there, right? I don't want to be my old self. I want to be the person that I am today. So hopefully that is a simple lesson that you can take away right now that is inspiring to you and it's helpful to you. There's my pup in the background, Diamond. And literally, guys, if you want to be able to create the lifestyle you want, need, and deserve, you want to have more money, more meaning, and more freedom in your life, try this exercise. I promise you, once you start to condition your mind, right? Once you stop those old belief patterns and you start creating new neural pathways by interrupting that pattern and starting to put the right things into your brain, everything is going to change for you. Hopefully that helps. Hey, listen, if you'd like to be part of my next case study, please drop me a comment below and just write in the word case study, and I'll reach out to you. The one that I've got coming up is closed, right? It's already full. So if you drop case study in here, I will put you first on the wait list for the next one. I have one of these every month, but the case study group is small, right? I want to be able to pour everything I have into the group that I have, and once they're moving in the right direction, we start to develop some new ways of thinking, right? That's literally what we're doing in the case study group, is starting to develop those new ways of thinking. Then the next group will start after that. So if you'd like to participate, if I'm talking to you and you can hear what I'm saying and it resonates with you, just drop that below case study and I'll put you on the wait list. Have a great day.